sisters, all the older ones, and cousins were riding bikes, I think, and he was tagging along, and a little guy, maybe 8 years old, but riding bikes, and they were trying to get rid of him. They were down around St. Thomas Square, and that's where his father had a feed and grain store.
Okay. The dry goods or something?
No, it was feed and grain. And there was a hayloft. It was for the.
Okay, I know this story, but you tell it well.
And so they're trying to ditch Lenny Boy because he's.
The girls were?
The girls, so they're trying to ditch him. So they go into the feed and grain store and they climb up the ladder to go up to the hayloft. And I think it was his cousin and he's right behind him, climbing the stairs, and she drops her bloomers and pees on his head. And he goes crying home all the way home to Mama.
How old was Papa?
Well, he must have been about 8, I think. I'm just guessing.
What a bummer.
But that's so mean to poor little boy.
I wonder what he did to deserve it. He probably totally deserved it, you know.
He probably did.
He earned that one.
Well, anyway, I think of some, and there's a lot of stories that that weren't written down, or some like family scandals and things like that.
Ooh, tell me some scandal.
Well, I don't know what I wanted to have.
Oh, come on.
Well,
this is only going to stay between family.
His sister that he loved, Ethel.
Yeah.
She was a milliner.
Right.
She
made a hat maker, right?
Right. And she had a shop on 4th Street.
Right.
And either across the street or next door, something was a candy store, an ice cream store, the Ludwigson, and I think they were German. And they had a son. And so they were smitten and fell in love. And I think married, and I know she was pregnant. Well, turns out he had been working there with his in the family thing, and he'd been embezzling from his family and stealing money from the family store. So evidently it came to light, and so he was sent off. They sent him to San Francisco. And
this is before people started sending everybody to Berkeley.
Yeah, they sent him to San Francisco, and she was pregnant. And so it was a disgrace to the family because she had married him, but he was a disgrace to the
So
whole family.
She did marry him.
She did marry him, and she was pregnant, and she went with him to San Francisco, and then she died in childbirth.
Oh. So that's when Nana went to Hawaii to collect her when you got the telegram, right?
She went, from Hawaii to San Francisco, because now there's a baby boy, William Ludwigson, family, who, as far as I know, he's still alive.
And he's who raised him?
Well, she brought him back to the islands and raised him.
This is while Papa was still under 20 years old, right?
Yeah, because I think he was around, well, he must have been early teens, maybe 13 or something, because she brought him back and her Ethel's remains back to be buried. So,
where is Ethel buried?
I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, after she's back a while, she gets sick, Nana. And she goes to the doctor and she's got the clap.
Nana?
Nana. From her husband, who, while she was away,
had an affair, yeah. One of several affairs,
probably,
right?
Yeah. But no, so that's when she divorced him. And I think that was in 1915. Grandpa was about 15 when she divorced him.
And they had antibiotics then, right? No, there was
They didn't have-
pre-penicillin.
No, they didn't have antibiotics even when Grandpa had his accident in 1938. So, anyway, and that was a family scandal.
That's a huge scandal.
Yeah. And it's funny, I can remember, I think, him telling me this story. Was he at your, they were in Grass Valley, whether it was we were at their house or at your mother's house one night when we were sitting, because he didn't volunteer a lot of stuff like that.
Right.
But,
he was still maintaining social graces even into his 80s.
Yeah.
All done there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's enough of that one.
Well, okay, so then what happened to Ludwigson, the child, after
I don't
Nana
know.
got
I
sick?
met him. I don't, and later in years, but last I met him was in San Francisco, sometime when I was an adult. But I don't remember any details on him.
Did he keep that same last name? Or not? Okay.
Yeah, his name was William Ludwigson.
Okay. Now, if you can remember, so I don't forget again, I know you've told me before, but what time?
It's 8:30.
Oh, we're good. Grandma and Claire's younger siblings.
Helen and Poochie and Casey and Carl.
Now, Helen passed,
She was diabetic.
and she tried to, she was the cute one, that's right.
She was diabetic, and she had juvenile diabetes, so it was bad. And she was married. Her husband was a chiropodist, foot doctor, and she wanted to have a child, but they wouldn't let her. They said it would kill her. And she died when she was 27 in a diabetic coma.
But didn't she get married?
Yeah, she was
but
married.
I thought she got pregnant too.
I don't know if she did or not. I know she wanted a child, but she never had one.
Okay.
And then there were the 4 boys. There was Poochie and Casey and Carl. Peanuts.
Peanuts. Where did they go? Where were they raised?
In Wisconsin, Menominee, Michigan, Marinette. Poochie's still alive. He lives in Waukesha.
What's his real name?
Harris.
And Harris Selvik?
Albert, no.
Helvik.
Olson.
Olson, that's right.
Because their father was Carl Ole Olson,
Okay.
Grandma's stepfather.
And then what about the other 3?
Carl died of a brain tumor. Poochie's alive. Peanuts was in World War II and had some complications with health related to having been in the war. And he died young. I'm not sure exactly what it was. And Casey just died not too long ago. In fact, when I last was in Waukesha a few years ago with the Bills, when we went up to Duluth, he and I drove to Duluth to visit some friends. We went to his daughter's wedding, or his son's wedding. Anyway, they're still family.
His son or his grandson's wedding?
His son. He was married to June. And whose wedding was it? I have to ask Bill about whose wedding it was, because we went to the wedding as we drove up. It was in Marinette or Menominee. So Bill would remember.
Okay, so that's 3 of them. What happened to the 4th one?
He's still alive.
And he's still back there? Which one is he?
That's Harris, and that's Poochie. And he lived in Florida when Jennifer and Ed and Bill and I rented a houseboat in Florida a few years ago. They came up and met us, and we had a day with them. Now they've since moved to Florida, back up to Wisconsin. But they're in their 80s or late 80s, but nice people.
And why did Grandma never mention them when I was growing up around her?
Well, maybe she was older and was out of the nest, as they were growing up.
Mm-hmm. But they never really kept in contact with the boys.
Not much.
I always thought it was just her and Claire.
It was a whole new family. Grandma, Gigi, great grandma, my grandmother. After her husband died, she had the two little girls. She was cooking in a camp for probably a lumber mill, and she was cooking, and then she met Carl, who was sort of old, and married him, and then started a new family.
So she was in her 30s, maybe?
Well, I think she might have been. I think she was like 19 when she came to America. So then she had Clara, and then my mother 4 years later. And I don't remember how old they were when he died, but he died. She was probably in her 30s because he was about 35 when he died.
On the train.
Yeah.
When she came to America, where did she go first?
I think she went to Wisconsin.
So she came up through the Lakes region?
Probably.
I wonder if she came in through Canada or came in through the U.S.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Did she come with her parents or alone?
No, she was married.
To him?
Mm-hmm.
To Handsome Charlie?
Yeah. Yeah, she was married. I think they came together. She was a sweet lady. I loved her.
What are the few things that you remember about her that were special?
I never heard her ever criticize anybody. And you can't say that the same for all of our family.
Where did Grandma get her ways?
But Gigi always had something kind to say. She was really, really a kind, sweet lady. I never heard her ever get angry or criticize people. And we do tend to be critical. Who, me?
Me?
But she was sweet. She came one time. Claire and Carp and my mother and Dad went on I think they went on a freighter trip someplace. They were gone like 6 weeks. So she came out and stayed with us when we were still living in Campbell. And the girls were teenagers and stuff. And they just loved having her there. And she baked bread every week. We all gained how much weight because every week she baked bread and it'd be smelling so good. Come home from school and hot bread and slathered in butter.
Did you know any Norwegian at that time?
No, I've never really learned any.
Did Grandma ever? Grandma spoke some,
Yeah,
didn't she?
some. Yeah, but not much. I never really learned anything.
And did Grandma ever tell you what it was like when Charlie died? No, she never talked about it. Did Clara ever tell you about him? Or their childhood memories of him or anything? Well, are there any other hidden family members we don't know about?
Well, there's Poochie or Harris that lives in Waukesha, and there's still Casey. It was Casey and Peanuts and Poochie and
Carl.
And so they have family. There's another one. I can't think of her name except I get Christmas cards from her. A cousin of some sort.
Whose kid?
I'm not sure.
You remember her name?
I I have her name and address at home on my Christmas card list. In fact, I visited her.
Where does she live?
She lives in Wisconsin.
Okay. And does Bill know her?
Uh-huh. Yeah. And you know, Bill has 3 kids.
Yeah.
And he has a new grandson.
Right.
And he's thrilled with that.
And he gets to see the grandson a fair amount.
They're pretty good about it. The boys, the teenagers, I think they're 16 now. They're not that, he doesn't see them that much because their mother's kind of a pain. He doesn't particularly like her. Never did.
Well, it sounds like she hasn't been that gracious with Bill.
Mm-hmm. But the one with the new baby, well, they're not married even. But she's from South America. And I say, you know, is there any chance they're going to get married? He says, don't ask me.
Who, Bill?
Uh-huh.
Is he dating?
No. I mean, whether the ones with the new baby,
Oh,
or
whether they're
going
going to get married. I see.
So whether they are, he doesn't. Who knows?
Okay, Paula. Think of any other scandal you know.
Is that enough for one day?
Oh, we got 16 minutes of you. No other scandals that you can remember.
Well, we had nothing left for the day, is
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Say hi, everybody.
Okay.
Say hi to the family.
Okay. Now, don't quote me on. Now you got me on tape.